What it do, Two Bald Dudes Army?
So this video is going to be a little bit sad. I'm sure you've heard the news that three iconic stars of the 80s and 90s have recently just passed away. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, best known as Theo from The Cosby Show, the iconic rocker Ozzy Osborne, and the immortal Hulk Hogan. So we're going to talk about it a little, give you some of our feelings on these recent passings.
Stay tuned for this week's episode.
Tragic new details have emerged in the drowning death of actor Malcolm-Jamal Warner.
Just going to bring you some breaking news now that we are getting here, and that is that Ozzy Osborne, the lead singer of Black Sabbath, has died.
Just before 10 a.m. today, Clearwater Fire and Rescue, along with the Clearwater Police Department, responded to a house in the 1000 block of El Dorado Avenue for a medical-related call. It was discovered at that time Terry Bollea, also known as Hulk Hogan, was experiencing a serious medical-related issue. Personnel provided medical treatment at that time and transported Mr. Bollea to Morton Plant Hospital, where he died at 11:17 a.m.
Actor Malcolm-Jamal Warner has died at the age of 54. Warner accidentally drowned while swimming in the ocean Sunday afternoon, 54 years old. Warner is best known for his role, of course, as Theo Huxtable, Cliff's son, on The Cosby Show.
So, folks, you've heard the tragic news that Malcolm-Jamal Warner had passed away. He was in an accidental drowning, which I'm shocked to hear. He was 54 years old. The incident occurred in Costa Rica while he was on a vacation with his family. And as you all know, he's best known for his role as Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show. Here is a clip from that show now, which we'll watch.
So Theo, I'm sure everybody knows Theo Huxtable. I mean, if you're a child of the 80s and 90s, The Cosby Show was one of the biggest television shows on NBC, on TV. So we all grew up with Malcolm-Jamal Warner. I remember seeing him on Sons of Anarchy. He played one of the Grim Reapers. And his most recent role was in 911.
That's right.
Where he played a medic, I believe. I didn't watch the show, but I believe he was a medic on that show. And then he also played a medic or a doctor on The Resident just before that. So very tragic. The fact that he passed away on vacation with his family, with his little girl and his wife, that makes it even more tragic that something like this could have happened.
It's devastating. I can't imagine what the family's going through right now, but of course our condolences, our love goes out to them in their time of need. And you're right, he had a very successful acting career at a young age. And he was loved by everyone. There's a clip here of Adam Sandler. They're interviewing him as well, and here are his thoughts on that.
And also, obviously, that today, Hollywood Morning, Malcolm-Jamal Warner. Your thoughts on The Cosby Show and his role as well?
I knew him very well. We were young together. We hung out a bunch. Went to lunch and dinner and parties, and he was always a very down-to-earth, special kid. And very inclusive, and made me feel special, and was a superstar. Wherever he went, it was mayhem. He just meant a lot to the world, and we're gonna miss him.
And then let's not forget too, one of his other iconic roles was on Malcolm and Eddie with Eddie Griffith. I was a fan of that show. I watched it in the 90s. That showed in a grown-up version of Malcolm-Jamal Warner. Funny ass show. So if you've never watched it, watch it and you'll see some of his comedic chops.
Oh, let me hold him. Where is she?
Where's who?
The little hoochie you trying to impress. Let me hold him. Let me hold him.
What are you talking? Why you even trying to play me like that, man? I'm not the type of guy that would just, oh, there's Daddy.
Yeah.
Big. Oh, hey.
Mac Daddy.
Breaking news out of the music world of a different kind. Heavy metal legend and reality TV pioneer Ozzy Osborne has died at the age of 76.
His family confirming the news in just the past hour and were by the singer's side in his final moments. Let's go live to 9 Europe correspondent Hannah Sinclair. Hannah, tributes are already pouring in for the Black Sabbath frontman.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, they certainly are. Tributes are flowing for Ozzy Osbourne after his family broke the news to the world that he has died aged 76 years old. The family saying in a statement, it is with more sadness than mere words can convey that we have to report that our beloved Ozzy Osbourne has passed away this morning. He was with his family and surrounded by love. His bandmates posting on the Black Sabbath Instagram page, Ozzy forever. Sir Elton John describing him as a dear friend, a huge trailblazer, a true legend, and one of the funniest people he's ever met. From the Rolling Stones, Ronnie Wood says, "I'm so very sad to hear what a lovely goodbye concert he had." The heavy metal star performed his final gig on stage less than 3 weeks ago, determined to give his fans the perfect farewell, telling them, "Thank you from the bottom of my heart."
And if that wasn't enough, a couple days after that, the tragic news of the iconic rocker, the Black Sabbath lead singer, the godfather of heavy metal, Ozzy Osbourne, passed away at 76. And succumbed to his Parkinson's from what I understand, but it was mere weeks after his final concert where he performed with Black Sabbath, you know, and all these other iconic rockers that had looked up to him. So, you know, gut punch number 2 with Ozzy.
Absolutely. In fact, on July 22nd, he died. So just 2 days apart, you know, you had Malcolm-Jamal Warner and now Ozzy Osbourne, who, of course, up until his last show, which was Back to the Beginning tour, it's a wonderful thing. It's great that he got that opportunity. His Parkinson's it was growing to stage 5 Parkinson's. So it was getting worse and worse. His health was declining. And there's an interview, too, about that where he said, you know, the last thing I'm going to do, even if it kills me, is I'm going to get back on stage one last time. And that's exactly what he did.
That's exactly what he did.
You know, me and Ollie, I know that, you know, we both grew up listening to heavy metal. Huge fans. You know,
huge fans.
Huge fans, you know, of the 80s. You know, even the early 70s when Black Sabbath came out as well. I grew up listening to the music as a kid, you know, on the records, on the CDs. You know, that's just what we had in our household. And he is definitely one of a kind. In fact, there is a clip with Gene Simmons who speaks about him as well. And here's that clip now. Let's watch.
I think it's fair to say there was never an Ozzy Osbourne before Ozzy. There was never an Ozzy until Ozzy came along. And there never will be another Ozzy. Ozzy is universally beloved.
So, with that said, what iconic Black Sabbath songs do you remember?
I mean, Black Sabbath, you have Iron Man, you have Paranoid, and then when he branched out on his own, Bark at the Moon, Crazy Train. He's got the iconic duet with Lita Ford, Close Your Eyes Forever.
Yes, Close Your Eyes.
and Crazy Train, you hear that in commercials, you hear that as an anthem at the sports arenas. I mean, you know, these songs are going to live forever.
They're going to live forever. You know, there was no one like Ozzy Osbourne. You know, he was clinically insane. I mean, he was an anomaly. He was something that you think wouldn't work, but because it was so outside the box, it did work. And it defined Black Sabbath. The music, you know, the melodies, it was all Ozzy in the end. Even though he didn't play an instrument, those were Ozzy's songs, you know.
Yep.
And to be honest, too, Sharon, if it wasn't for Sharon, Ozzy probably never would have gotten to where he was.
Yeah.
Sharon was the backbone. Sharon helped write some of the lyrics as well. Sharon helped book the gigs. She was the glue, really, behind Ozzy being successful in this band. And, of course, naturally, our love goes out to the family, you know, to the son and the daughter and to Sharon, you know, because now that they're without a father, you know, the family just won't be the same. The house won't be the same.
And let's not forget, speaking of the family, their iconic MTV show, the Osbournes, and the iconic scream of Ozzy, Sharon! throughout the entire series.
Sharon! Sharon! Sharon!
Ozzy, you calling?
I mean, that put them in a whole nother stratosphere, introduced them to a whole new generation, and made Ozzy even that much more beloved.
You're right. He really was a comedic genius, whether he knew it or not.
Yeah.
He was a very funny individual.
He was funny without trying to be funny.
Yeah, and fun fact too is he loved burritos.
Did he really?
It's random,
He loved burritos?
but he was a burrito enthusiast. He would eat burritos 24/7.
Oh, that's
He'd
crazy.
always have burritos in the fridge.
See, and I did not know that.
Nothing like a good burrito.
A burrito.
You know what I mean?
Do you want a burrito, Joe?
Sure.
Do you like spicy or non-spicy? Do you like spicy or non-spicy? Non-spicy.
Did Jack know that you guys were coming here?
I'm talking.
Oh, wait, Dad, I'm getting spoken to by 9,000 people here right now.
I'm just asking.
No, I said no spicy. Actually, I actually don't want a burrito. I just ate earlier.
Hell, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday we lost one of the biggest and most globally recognized icons in the world. A man I grew up watching, was fortunate enough to share the ring with, and like so many of us, were honored to call a friend. The truth is, he captivated millions of people and inspired them around the globe.
And then, as another gut punch, because, you know, after Ozzy passed, me and another buddy were talking about, you know, it comes in threes. Who would be the next one? And who would be the next one? Totally out of left field, not even expected. The immortal Hulk Hogan. 2 days later, he passed on the 24th. I mean, 3 iconic 80s and 90s icons, like I said earlier. It's just, for us kids, or us adults that grew up in that time, in that era, these are our heroes that have started to pass, you know, in front of our eyes.
Absolutely, yeah. He died at the age of 71. You know, not super old, not super young, but his health was declining from what we were hearing.
Yeah, he had spinal fusion surgery about a month ago, and from there his health just started to decline, unfortunately.
He was having shortness of breath. He was losing weight. You know, there were signs and symptoms, and I imagine he had the best doctors available.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But you know, when death's knocking on your door, no one can stop it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's sad. You know, they took him to the hospital, but they say cardiac arrest. You know, he passed away. There's another icon who was loved by millions of fans.
I mean,
of all ages.
If it wasn't for him, wrestling would not be in the WWE, or the WWF, it was called back then, would not be where it's at today.
Exactly. In fact, too, there's an interview with Ric Flair, who talks about Hulk Hogan and how close of friends they actually were. And let's watch that clip.
Rick, first of all, I am so sorry. This must hit you profoundly.
More than you'll ever know. People always wanted to paint us as enemies, but we were actually very, very close friends. And we kept up with each other on a regular basis. So I just talked to Jimmy Hart yesterday, and he was fine. To have this happen is just horrible.
So you can see too, like, when it comes to WWE, you know, whether it was, no matter what generation you were from, you have kids that look up to these icons that are even that are retired. You know, you have children now that watch the older episodes and they love it. You know.
Brother.
Well, let me tell you.
No, let me tell you something, brother. When you walk in this beat shop, I'm surprised that you still got the shirt on, Jack.
Well, let me tell you something, Hulkster. The first time I met you, I was only 3 years old, but now I'm 6 years old. So now we gotta take it to a bigger level, man. Just like when you press that no good stinking giant over your head and slam them right through the table in front of 93,000 Hulkamaniacs. So what are they gonna do when the power of the Hulkster and the roaster and the dual 24-inch pythons run wild on you?
There they love, you know, Mark Calloway, The Undertaker. They love Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair. I mean, the list goes on. Goldust. You've got all these different iconic, you know, characters that were made, and it basically immortalizes these trained professionals, and really allows us to enjoy and appreciate the entertainment value that they brought.
Exactly. I mean, I watched wrestling as a kid growing up. The Hulkster, Tito Santana, the iconic body slam of Andre the Giant.
Yes.
What was that, in WrestleMania? I mean, his accolades could go on and on.
Yes, yeah, accolades. That's a good word. I agree. I agree. So we thought that it would be fair to do a piece on these three individuals. They both lived. Well, they all lived extraordinary lives. They came from completely different backgrounds. You know, one was an actor, one was a
musician,
a music,
and and later on in life, a reality TV star.
Right. I guess he was an actor then at that point, in a way.
In a way,
acting as himself. And then, of course, you have a pro wrestler who was a performer and an actor as well.
Exactly.
You know,
and wrestling is acting. You know, sports entertainment, as they call it.
Exactly. I mean, Hulk Hogan was in several films.
And he was in several films, too. He became, before The Rock, before John Cena, before Batista getting in the movies, the Hulkster did it first.
I think he was in the movie Gremlins, too, like, as well. There was a scene in the movie theater.
Is that right?
Where he's in the Gremlins, like, what's going on?
That I did not
something
know.
like that, yeah.
Gremlins? In this theater? Now? Okay, you guys, listen up. People paid good money to see this movie. When they go out to a theater, they want cold sodas, hot popcorn, and no monsters in the projection booth. Do I have to come up there myself? Do you think the Grimsters can stand up to the Hulkster? Well, if I were you, I'd run the rest of Gremlins too, right now. Sorry, folks. It won't happen again.
And then some other scene where he's saving this girl's cat out of a tree. He just pulls the tree limb down and grabs the cat.
Yep.
And then he's like, oh, that's not your cat. And then the cat just flies away because he lets go of the tree branch. Anyways, though, he was very funny. So with that said, post in the comments down below. Give us your thoughts, your experiences. If you ever met these individuals, what your stories were. We'd love to hear it. We all want to come together and support these, I mean, national treasures in a way. You know, these individuals that really helped pave the way for other future movie stars, rock stars, wrestlers, you know. Let us know your thoughts. With that said, thank you for watching this episode. We'll see you on the next one.